folks. How are you doing today? My name is Melvin, and welcome. Glad to see you here. Glad to see you well. So, what is this show that I am creating here? Well, I want to take the time to just explore the things that I want to talk about, but don't feel like they belong in a certain format, at least for now. I usually have a lot of thoughts on my mind, and going through that helps me. Sometimes I feel as if my videos end up better when either I take the time to talk about them out loud or when I just talk about them out loud in general, when I don't focus on a script, where I just focus on whatever's on my mind. And I think spending more time, investing more time into thinking these ideas and thoughts is only going to be a win win for me. I have a lot of ideas that I should try to implement. I have a lot of thoughts that I want to, share with you guys. I want to share thoughts with you guys. And I want as many of those thoughts as possible to be either happy or thought provoking. So even if those videos, or this video in that matter, gets 0 views, that shouldn't matter because I'm here talking through them, and that should be some sort of value there. This video is going to help me with all my future endeavors. All of them. Me going to bed tonight, me waking up tomorrow feeling more fresh and rejuvenated. Like, this is a routine that should be a part of my life. There's so many benefits to doing this, and I hope you guys can be a part of that. Now, while I said there's no real format, I did decide to have a list of things that I wanted to talk about. Okay? So we are going to get started with that. So the first one is what the title represents. So I'm calling it Victorious Visionary. The fact that I am recording this right now is a victory, even if it doesn't feel like one. I have to remind myself that it is. And that's where the title comes in, where I just need that reminder, that little push, that even if it doesn't feel like I am victorious, the fact that I'm recording Victorious Visionaries should be that reminder. Taking the time to invest in something that you really care about should be seen as an accomplishment. It's only seen as an accomplishment in certain scenarios when you're able to share that, when you're able to kind of have other people benefit from it. Art is only good. I'm speaking in riddles here, but art is only good when so many people can find value from it. Sports are only good when so many people are watching and attending it. It's not really valuable when you're the only person benefiting from it. But that's not true. That's not how you should look at it. I only say that because it's so easy to look at the world that way. It's incredibly easy to look at yourself and say, I am only valuable when I can produce something that not only benefits others, but benefits myself as well. Quid pro quo. Hey, I want to work for your company, provide you this skill, and my benefit is making money from it. Well, let's throw that all away. What if you can benefit only yourself. You know, think selfishly a little bit. Maybe that's not such a bad thing. Maybe you have a lot of things that you want to get better at that would benefit the world, that can provide an alternative perspective that can benefit just one other person or even just yourself. You know, we define our victories. We define our goals. We define how the day turns out. And that's why storytellers are so powerful, because they have that power within themselves. It takes a lot of time and work, and a lot of them don't even talk about what kind of influences go on when they try to create something. We'll never know. But if we become our own visionaries, our own storytellers, that's where things can become, it's a little spicy. I like my tacos spicy. Life is so complicated. It is so complicated. And for me, I'm going through a lot of that myself. I have friends, I have family, but this is my journey, my decisions. And sometimes that feels sometimes it doesn't feel rewarding to work these jobs that give me a lot of stress, only to come home and make that extra cash. Like, okay, I'm making decent money, all right? Like, I'm only saying this to just give you my perspective. I'm not trying to brag or anything. But yes, I am in a good position after switching so many jobs in COVID. Financially, I feel comfortable. And I'm really happy. I'm genuinely really, that was one of my biggest concerns during COVID. But I'm doing the exact same thing as when half of my money went to rent. After work is done, I go home. On my days off, I get to do whatever I want. That's how it is. Nothing much has changed. So I'm working these harder jobs, and it's like, where's the reward? Where is it? And I have to create that. Whether or not my job gives me that's its own thing. That's its own pot pie. But when I have the time available, I should look at it and say, okay, what can I do? What can I do to bring about change? So that's where the idea of a victorious visionary comes from, where, okay, I got to do a lot of things that I don't want to do. And another thing, I'm coming from a extremely privileged perspective, because all my needs are taken care of. And yet I'm still struggling with all these mental health issues, with all these issues that might be considered subjective, where it's like, what do you have to worry about? You're living the dream. So I do want that in perspective. There's a lot of mental health things that life doesn't solve on its own, and you got to make that time, make that effort to do so. And that's where Victorious Visionaries comes in. I am putting the effort to, create a better vision for myself and for those around me. That's really all I want. I shouldn't say that. Because there's a lot of things I want. There's a lot of things. But I'm going to have fun with it. And I'm going to talk about things that might be uncomfortable or just not happy topics. But I want to provide my own flavor, my own pizzazz. Am I hungry? I don't know. There's a lot of food metaphors in this recently. But yeah, you're going to see what kind of things I like to talk about. It's gonna be like it's gonna be a box of chocolates. You just don't know what you're gonna get. There's another food metaphor there. But I guess give me some time to think about how to word this. So let's just take some patience here before I go into the next topic. One of the most annoying things that YouTube ever did on its own platform was to take away the sort by oldest to newest. You can do newest to oldest, and you can do most popular, but you can't sort it in any other way. Until recently, they brought it back. They brought back oldest to newest. And here's why I am so giddy that that has come back. So I have used YouTube since, I don't remember the year, but it could have been as early as like 2005, 2006, like really, really early. Just going to the computers in school or going to the library, things like that. Like, I saw this treasure trove of videos of people just talking. Like, I was able to listen to someone's story whenever I wanted. I had that fill from television. I was a huge television fanatic as a child. I loved TV and cartoons and movies. I loved stories. And YouTube just felt like a different way to grab stories. And I absolutely loved it. If I had a say, YouTube would be considered the eighth wonder of the world. Sorry, there's seven wonders? Seven wonders of the world? This would be considered the eighth wonder in my eyes, with just how much history is preserved on this platform. But the thing is, including this video, YouTube has no, how do I say this? They don't owe you anything. The things you put on the platform, they can take it off whenever. You never know when that's going to go. And do you want to know what probably might be the first things to go? It would be the older content. Less people are watching it. It's not as trendy. Why keep it? It doesn't make them any money. Sure, every once in a while, someone will click on it and it will generate an ad for YouTube. But at the same time, it's staying on YouTube servers, something that gets more and more expensive every single second with how much people are uploading just nonsensical videos. And YouTube lets them. It's strange. I'm surprised that YouTube still lets people make 10-hour videos if they wanted to. It's truly one of the best websites ever created in that respect. And I like to go onto YouTube and look at those older videos. I like to see the history, the perspective. It's such a much different perspective. And sometimes I look at that and I see to myself that I'm just not as big of a fan as current YouTube. I think there's a lot of problems. And I think I'm going to be talking about... No, I didn't put that in this list, so I'll talk about it here. I want more content creators to create their own YouTube algorithm. Now I heard that I didn't come up with that concept. I actually heard it from a Michael Stevens interview, aka Vsauce, and he was fortunate enough to kind of carve his own path. And I think more content creators just need to do that. There's just too much copying going around. Either that or YouTube is just promoting all of these copycats. Either way, it's not a website I want to be a part of, you know? At least at times I feel that way. And when I look at the older content, that is when people were given the opportunity to carve their own path. Or maybe not given, just not influenced by any other path. They were solely inspired by their own wit, their own charisma, their own charm, their own ideas. And they put that all together and they created something for you guys. It might not have been the best quality, the best audio. What you're seeing now is much higher quality than something you would have gotten 10 years ago on the platform. Well, yeah, 10 years ago. YouTube existed 10 years ago. It's hard to realize just how much time has gone by. So that's just something to think about. And like I said, I'm surprised YouTube still exists to this day, that you could still upload content for free. It's truly a gift. It's truly something so wonderful. And I hope that YouTube continues that way, but who knows, you know? I don't want to ruin the fun, you know, throw rain on this parade, but it's this capitalism. It's the society we live in. When they don't see it as profitable anymore, they'll chuck it. They'll get rid of it. And it's going to be very unfortunate when that day comes. I hope it doesn't, but you know, so enjoy the oldest tab while you still have it. Enjoy that older content. Figure out what you can learn from it. Just some thought there. When I say this, it's going to sound incredibly odd. You just have to let me explain. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I wrote. So Mariah Carey is an amazing singer, and I never knew. You're gonna say, what are you talking about? She's one of the best-selling artists of all time. You've heard her music, you've heard her sing, you've heard her perform. And yes, all of that is true. I was also once a huge fan of American Idol, so I've seen other people perform her songs, try to sing like her, be compared to her. She was once a judge on the show, so it's like, yeah, I should know much more about Mariah Carey than I really do. I just don't. So, with that said, how I started listening to Mariah Carey was really her more recent pop hits, and those are fine. Like what are some of those? I can't think of any right now. But they're just more like they just came out maybe in like the 90s, the 2000s. But one day on YouTube, one of the greatest websites of all time, I was listening to her live performances, you know, when she was kind of on her A game. And her singing, her ability to sing is phenomenal. Oh, yeah, one of those is like Always Be My Baby, things like that song. But man, when you hear her perform live some of those older songs, she is outstanding, phenomenal. and I didn't know. Like, her pop songs are fine, they're good, and all that stuff, but man, oh man. Oh, I wish I could have been born around that time to see that performance live. Like, it's truly such an amazing feat. And I thought this was an interesting topic to bring up because I just never took the time to give her music a chance, to like listen to her best stuff. I just listened to whatever was available, whatever was the most popular, and just kind of moved on. I didn't like see any reason to look into it more deeply. And I'm just glad that I was wrong. I'm glad that everyone who says she's one of the best performing artists of all time, I can finally see that. I can finally understand where they're coming from. It's truly, I don't know. It's nice. It's nice when you can enjoy someone else's talent. I just thought that was interesting. I'm not ready for this next topic here. I'm not. Um I don't know too much about it either. Um but I heard about it, and I guess I just wanted to talk about. So, yeah, I'll use this headline. Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse might be delayed because of animator stress and overwork. So I saw Into the Spider-Verse in theaters, and I thought it was a phenomenal piece of work. I don't think I've seen anything better animation wise. Like, it was truly a work of art, seeing just all those colors and just taking advantage of everything, both 2D and 3D. It's amazing. I Christopher Miller, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are just an amazing duo, and props to them for making an amazing movie. But the abuse that came from the people lower, the people who aren't going to get as much of the credit or the notoriety, they they are going to have permanent scars from this line of work. Now, maybe one of your thoughts is they signed up for this. It's Hollywood. They should have known. Abuse is everywhere. That is something I've learned. I think that's one of the things. It's one of the requirements of living as an adult, is that abuse is everywhere. Someone who is stronger at one point or another has the opportunity and has the chance to abuse someone that is lower. Not everyone does that. There are a lot of leaders and a lot of powerful people who do a lot of good. But you just see way too many examples, way too many, of just these people who are so high up abusing those who are beneath them. And at some point, we have to start saying that's not right. We have to, I don't know how, but put our foot down and just not allow this kind of tolerance towards abusing your own employees. They deserve as happy of a life as those who are on the top, those who make millions, if not billions of dollars. They deserve as much happiness as those people as well. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. Especially since they've worked on the movie. And like I said, it's one of the best animated movies I've ever seen in my life. If it doesn't win an Oscar, a Golden Globe, any of those peaks of accomplishments in the media, if they don't win any of those, I'll be truly shocked. But if they do win, some executive, some head is going to take that award and give a speech on behalf of the team. And that team isn't going to be able to express how much work they put in such a fascinating film. You know, it's like, I know it's just an award, and I know it's just Hollywood, but it's just not a fun feeling to have. They deserve the notoriety, the accomplishments that all these higher-ups are getting. Phil Lord and Christopher Miller are going to have so many opportunities to make whatever kind of movie they want. Yeah, sure, maybe they won't get it in the span of time that they're expecting, or maybe they won't, or maybe some of their projects won't get greenlit. Maybe they have something that they're truly passionate about, and it won't get greenlit. They will still have so many opportunities to make fantastic works of art where they get to put their name on it. And then all these people here, yes, they're going to be in the credits. I watched through the credits. I sat through it. I didn't remember most of the names. I remember Phil Lord, Christopher Miller. I remember those people. They're going to get the credit, but it's going to be, there was a scene in Succession where I don't remember the scenario, but it was like human furniture. And it's like, what kind of better analogy is there than imagining the head of Sony and these directors just using their employees as footstools? I don't mean to sound bleak, but I think the people who worked on the movie deserve way more credit and way more respect. They made such an amazing piece of art, and I want them to tell their stories and create their own movies. They deserve it. Now for the last topic for today. There's another reason why I decided to give this a shot. So I was thinking about method acting recently because I watched through Succession, and one of the actors is considered a method actor. He doesn't consider himself a method actor, but he's done certain things in not only Succession, but in other TV shows and movies where people have said, yeah, he did these things that aligns with what you do in method acting. There was a scene where he was going to be interrogated, and someone who claims to have worked with him said that he wanted to be in a room for hours before being interrogated, like in the scene, the interrogation scene. He wanted to be locked up in a room just staring at a wall to get the best performance. So I just started to look into it a little bit more, and things like that. One thing I learned is that yes, all the top actors, they get to work with some of the best acting coaches of all time. So don't think that it's just all pure talent. Like, yeah, they're talented people. Don't get me wrong. I love their work and things like that, but they also have the tools for their success. But yeah, I was just watching a short little video on YouTube just talking about all the things actors do to get into their role, but also how to do it healthy, how to do it in a way that doesn't ruin your relationship, doesn't ruin your ego, cuz method acting can do that. It can ruin your state of mind. Being a character, playing a character that requires so much work and effort. I don't want to get into that part specifically, but in my time with learning method acting, just not like learning it as trying to perform it, but just because I was curious. One of the things that caught me was that they do a lot of visions, dreams. Instead of taking the time to practice, they take the time to mentally prepare themselves for what's to come. And I think that is, there's something there, you know? Like, you can only act so much before your voice goes out, before you're too tired. But if you can work on this properly, you know, in a way that's safe and you're not overworking yourself, overstimulating yourself, you can create great things. You know, you can unleash amazing talent and amazing work and amazing effort. So that's kind of why I wanted to end with that topic there, because I feel like there's a lot I can learn from that, and a lot that I can look at that and say, like, there's something there. There's something truly powerful there that I haven't learned or figured out, but it'll all come with time. You know? Like I said, just the fact that I made this video, it's reminding me that I achieved something. I was victorious in something today. What else is there to say? Thank you, folks.